and welcome to Qwip. Qwip is a safe space for you to talk about anything and everything under the sun. So today it's a very interesting topic and it's something I don't really have experience with myself. We're talking about long distance relationships. So let's get into it and let's Qwip in. So today I have two very special guests with me today. Please help me introduce Jasmine and Megan.
Hi.
Okay guys, let's hop right into it. Maybe you can share with us a little bit, like a little one-liner about how your long-distance relationship was.
I was in a LDR for 2 years between Singapore and Malaysia, KL, and I met him through social media, Instagram.
Slid into your DMs, did he?
Yeah, I think so.
Who slid into whose DMs?
Him. Yeah.
Okay, Megan, what about you?
Well, mine is between Medan, Indonesia and Singapore. So, guess my boyfriend is Singaporean or Indonesian.
I mean, I know the answer to this, guys. I know.
How about you guys?
I know you guys are both Indonesian, but he came here to work.
To study and to work.
To study and to work. So, question number one. I mean, it's very obvious that you guys are already, going to the relationship knowing that it was going to be apart, right? Because he's Malaysian and you guys met in Indonesia, but you knew he was going to come here to work and study. Why then did you start a relationship knowing that, it's going to be hard, right? Straight off
I
the
think
bat?
for me, like if I look back now, I would say don't ever enter LDR. But I think at that point of time, I would think that even though my mind says no and quite scared about it, but my heart wanted to go forward and pursue it. Yeah.
Listen to your heart
Or your
or your head. What about you, Megan?
I just kepo
Just kepo. Like, let's just try it out. And then who
Yeah.
knew it would be like?
Because like my previous relationship was also LDR. So basically I never...
So you've never had a
local-
relationship
in Indo.
where they're both in
Yeah.
the same country at the same time?
Nope.
Wow, that is tricky. So, I'm not sure you guys know, but my boyfriend and I, we're both from Singapore. I mean, he stays at Yio Chu Kang, I stay at Bukit Panjang, and he already tells me, this is a long distance relationship, you stay like 10 MRT stations away from me, it's so far away from him. So yeah, please help me give him a tight slap because, you guys have really been through it. You guys have to...
I think compared to others, it's like maybe not that far because Indo and Singapore or Singapore and KL is really not that far. But
That's
I
true,
think
that's
it
true.
still requires more time, effort and
yeah.
money to travel back and forth.
Yeah. Especially if, every few months you want to like book a flight in.
Singapore 很贵.
很贵.
It's times 10,000.
So for me, I felt like, Malaysia was cheaper.
So you can save money when you move in.
Yeah, divide by everything times 3. Divide by 3.
Divide by 3.
Yeah, so I was the one traveling a lot to KL because of my work schedule.
No lah,
It's
because
very
they're cheaper.
Yeah, also cheaper.
Yeah.
So I spend money a
And
lot
also
more.
cause you feel like you're on holiday when you fly in,
Yes,
right?
true.
You get to experience
But of
different
course,
things.
like the downside is I didn't have much friends in KL. So I was feeling quite lonely there. But luckily, I made some friends there and his friends became my friends as well.
I was in KL at that time around then.
I didn't know you back then.
Too bad.
So, okay, you said you already feel a bit lonely when you're there, not knowing his friends. But
And I was staying with his family. So you haven't even married into the family.
yeah,
Then you
feel
need
like
to, like people would choose not to live with the family if they
Straight
get
away,
married,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I was already have to like
Experiencing
mother-in-law kind of feel. So wouldn't say it was like
not the most ideal.
correct, yeah.
Yeah. If you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe. So I think, I was gonna ask, like, because you already said you feel a bit lonely, even though you're there next to your partner. But when you're apart, do you feel even more like sad, lonely when there's that huge distance between you? Especially, if you're going out with your friends and they're talking about their boyfriends, like, my boyfriend did this, that kind of thing. Do you feel like
I
I
think
wish I could.
pre-COVID, it was okay because I knew it was the cycle. Me coming back to Singapore, I knew I was definitely
You're gonna
going
see him
back
in
to
a few weeks'
KL.
time, yeah.
So it wasn't that tough, and I knew I need to have a bit of my own life in Singapore. So I think it was something that I enjoy looking forward to, actually.
right.
So it wasn't that bad. But during COVID, of course, it's another story.
Because
Yeah.
COVID, I guess there is no end in sight.
COVID
You
is
don't know.
traumatic.
When then every day just scroll and see when is the borders
Yeah lah,
opening.
yeah.
But
Every
no,
day.
not opening. Yeah.
Imagine for 2 years every day, every day.
The first thing you do when you wake up.
Hana, no, before I sleep. Because like usually they update at night,
Yeah.
right? Then I see, if I never got the news, Indonesia, Singapore border open. Nothing for 2 years. So it's like, I
Actually,
don't know when I can.
Indo opened before Malaysia.
That's true, that's
I
true.
was surprised though.
I think it took a while before our borders to Malaysia.
Indo very
opened.
desperate. Open.
So in that long 2-year period, how did you keep your relationship alive? Did he do anything to surprise you? Did he send you flowers, a meal, that kind of thing?
No leh.
Oh no!
Hello?
No lah, because I think it was quite hard for him also. It was CB in Singapore for a few months, right?
That's true, that's true.
Yeah, and I think it's harder for him because he's staying alone. Then like I cannot visit. Then he cannot go out and meet friends, and so every day is just work, sleep, eat, work, sleep, eat. Good part is we do get to talk more like on phone and text because he's working from home. WFH, you can like
So at least now you're like, okay, he's gonna be at home all the time.
yeah, and
whatnot.
it's also a relief,
slightly relieved that he's not
He
going
can't go out. Right? The
He's not
government
going
will
out
take care of him for me.
partying, max 2 people, you know. That kind of thing.
Yeah, you know he cannot anyhow do anything without you here.
Yeah. No, but I mean, going into that, I feel like, for long distance relationship, there is the added trust level that you really need to trust your partner because it's not like you can see what he's doing. You can't.
So that's
keep
why you need to
keeping
get to
tabs.
know his friends first, so you have eyes.
So they help you. He's currently at this place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you feel, a bit have that tinge of jealousy when you see him out having fun without you?
Not jealousy lah, more like
Okay.
FOMO.
Ah.
It's like, I think it's quite fun.
I wish I was
yeah,
there
I wish
too.
I was
Yeah,
there.
if only I could be there with him, that kind of
Like
thing.
they're all having fun.
Yeah, especially I guess during COVID because when there's all these lockdowns, all these funny things, you can't do anything, and then you see someone else having fun, you're like, yeah, I wish I could be having fun.
Yeah,
too."
and it's the same way for him also because in Indo our COVID restriction is not as strict as Singapore. Like you don't have CB. Right? You don't have
So
CB.
maybe it's the other way around. He FOMOs you.
He like
you
you
going
I
out.
can still at least go out.
lor.
Not dine in, we cannot dine in, but like you can go supermarket. Like sometimes we can do the things that you cannot do in Singapore, like meeting
Yeah.
friends in supermarket. Like, but I did that with my friends. Like,
Ah.
hey, we go supermarket meet because there is no restriction and I get to spend more time with my family, which he can't do until now. He hasn't seen his family for almost 3 years.
I think you also did mention to me, outside of this, that you have never met his family.
Yes, true. We actually
In Medan?
In Medan,
because he
met
hasn't
his
gone back.
family.
Oh,
Yeah,
so,
I haven't-
yeah, okay.
So I kind of knew his family, his mom. I'm close to his mom through like phone calls and texts.
Texts and all that. Do you feel that, is your family actually approving of a long distance relationship
Yeah,
for you as
both
well?
of our families are
That's
very
nice.
supportive.
Yeah, that's good. How about you, Jasmine? Do you have any? Did your mom ever
Yes,
mention?
my mom, because my previous relationship before this LDR one was also a Malaysian. So
But-
my mom was like, why do you keep going finding a Malaysian boyfriend? Like, why do you keep wanting to go Malaysia? And for her, because she came from Malaysia but now Singaporean, so she said, are you going back to marry
your
back
home country?
to Malaysia, that kind of thing. Then yeah, it was, I don't know, maybe I couldn't find love here in Singapore. Oops.
Oops.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
and for me during COVID period, I was lucky to have a really good friend, Chloe. Shout out to her.
Chloe.
Yes, she adopted me as the professional third wheeler.
Ah, so you don't feel so lonely.
Yeah, and I think that helped me a lot
Yeah,
through that difficult time.
For sure. I think
You cannot be alone. One.
exactly. Such
And
a
I was
long period of
living
time.
alone,
Right, right.
so it's like extra lonely.
Yeah, so it's just you at home with your 2 cats.
No, at that point
Before
of time,
you
I
had your
didn't even have
cats.
That's why she adopted two.
Yeah.
So I think, do you have any advice for, someone who is about to start a long-term relationship? Because I always hear this, there's always this like saga that happens, a new couple, very in love and all that. Yeah, like you guys, think with your heart, maybe not so much thinking
I
about...
would say LDR is really a 50-50 chance kind of thing. There's a lot of things can happen overseas, temptation, all this.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, so I can't really say, even because I have known friends who are together for many years before they became LDR,
Yeah, I agree.
fell apart after that
Yeah.
as well. Or like people who just got into relationship but last until now,
Yeah.
even during LDR times.
Yeah, I think also it helps a lot going into the relationship, setting some ground rules for the both of you.
Like
So,
thinking how to work out this, like
Yeah.
how many times can we visit each other? I think that would help quite a
yeah.
bit.
Or even if you're apart, like how regularly should you call each other, or set aside time to talk about your day, text each other, how much updates you should be giving each other.
I think it's not just like this time, giving time and setting time, and also discussing about money, because for me, I travel a lot to KL, and then that was a huge cost
But you
for
say
me.
cheap.
But in
Divide by
Singapore,
3.
You divide the
air,
money.
air ticket is still in Singapore dollars. So, so after that, we discussed that we should split this kind of cost. So when he comes to Singapore, I will also pay half for it. I think it helped that he's also sharing the cost of it.
Otherwise,
Then
it will
you
be just something
feel a
that
little bit like, how come am I spending so
Yeah.
much time, effort to
fly
fly?
in to be with him.
and
that
someone
kind
need
of
to
thing.
spend money.
Yeah, it's quite it's
travelling.
actually quite expensive, come to think of
Yeah.
it. Because I mean, okay, like you think like in Singapore dating expensive really, going out for a meal, watching a movie, it all adds up. But for you guys, air tickets, or even like just sending a surprise present to
Oh
that
yeah,
person.
I did that like during COVID when I cannot visit, right? I kind of like want to buy him dinner because he cannot dine.
Yeah,
Dine
can't go
in,
out,
yeah,
can't
can
go
just tap out.
Yeah.
Then I go to like search out on the website. Then I add to cart. You know how much is the delivery fee?
Very expensive. Singapore delivery fee very
Minimum
expensive.
order is $50 and then the ship, because he's staying like very central only. Like actually the restaurant is
Not that far
not
away.
that far, it's like really
Yeah,
near,
yeah.
but the shipping cost is like another 25, so it's like $75
Oh my
for
That is like
one person. Yeah, for one person.
750K.
That one is 750K in Indo, where I can eat a very nice meal.
A lot of people can eat.
Yeah, we can eat.
for
It's
that amount.
750K Indo. You can eat for 4 people.
Dang, yeah, that's very expensive.
It's very expensive. Like
Yeah. So all these things really add up, even though you're so far apart. So okay, let's talk about the nicer parts. Like, what is something that you enjoy about being a long distance relationship?
I think for me, I didn't particularly enjoy as much. I'm more of like a clingy person, a clinging partner.
Yes.
So, like I wish everything, like all the events I hang out with friends, I wish he was
He
here.
was there all the time.
Yeah. So, a lot of times it's like me being a FOMO person.
So you just keep wishing to like fast forward the time
Yeah.
where you're
like
in
looking
Singapore,
forward,
you know?
like hey,
like when's he
like
coming?
you know
When's he
the date
coming?
you want to come visit, then it feels like time passed very slow. Like even though it's just 2 weeks, then I keep checking the calendar. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 more days are very long. It feels very long.
So it was bad because I felt like he revolves around my whole world. But now I look back,
Yeah,
I think it was bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like on hindsight, you feel that you should have sort of embraced your free time to do something by yourself, because you don't really get to have the both like a single yet dating life at the same time when in a normal relationship as well. What about you? Any positives about staying apart?
Doing whatever you like and no one is watching.
Actually, the best part of my LDR relationship is I get to travel to Singapore.
Because
she loves Singapore. Yeah.
I love Singapore.
Yeah, I think it's actually.
I get
give her
to
a PR.
experience, please, because I get to experience life that I have never experienced before.
Okay.
Because life in Indo pretty much is not the best, I can say, at least for me.
Okay.
And because I do live in a city, but it's still a developing country, so it's totally different. Like, I don't get a bit inside of living in Indo, so it's really not safe. You cannot even walk like holding your phone and your
Yeah,
purse.
I think you did mention like there's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
things that you have to
That's-
consider,
yep.
like what you're wearing, what
Yeah.
time you're going home, that kind of thing.
And then
But in Singapore,
sometimes I really just want to go out and walk for a bit and grab a cup of coffee. I cannot do that in Indo. So I get to come here and experience all of this. It's actually a plus point in this relationship. Even though I'm here, he's always at the office, but I get to spend time with like you guys, with my friends, and I get to just walk around in Singapore, embracing and living the life that I never get to live. So
Actually, I totally agree. So when I was staying in KL, like about 1 month each time, I really miss walking on the street, because like Malaysian, they just park at the mall, take the car home. They don't get to walk on the streets, not as much, and they know it is dangerous, and they tell me don't do that.
don't do that, yeah.
Yeah. So I really miss, you can just walk down Orchard Road.
It's like
you
a
can hold your
freedom.
coffee.
Yeah.
right. So I think being there helps you appreciate being home a little bit more as well. Very interesting
Lucky.
point.
Yeah. And then when you want to take photos, you can put down your bags somewhere. But in Malaysia, no,
no-no.
your bag will be gone.
You put it indoor 2 seconds,
You know what
you
people
blink gone.
in Singapore like to chop like seats with their bags or whatever.
Tissue.
Wallet, laptop, they can just walk away. I mean, like, you can't do
It's
that
a
in
different-
Indo or
yeah.
Malaysia.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's very unique to Singapore as well.
So I'm jealous.
When are you getting married? So actually, is that something that you've thought about? Moving forward, I'm sure you're either gonna settle in here or there's some plans in motion. Like,
Of course, I hope she settles down here.
She wants to be my neighbor.
I want her to be my neighbor.
I mean, okay, honestly, in Singapore, everyone is so close already.
Yeah.
Like,
Except
it's
Charlotte.
Ah, you damn far.
West side.
Correct. I'm in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's central. Yeah.
So do you feel that that's going to be a different dynamic as well? Because now you're gonna be like living together.
We are actually, at least for me, I hope that if everything goes well with his job, then we get to settle down in Singapore, which I really, really love. He's a PR now, so I think I'm one step close. I think, yeah. But it's also something that has a trade-off for us. We will be living apart from our family, and we will be starting a new life in like another country, like in Singapore. And like having no family around, sometimes it can be quite, you get what I mean? A bit very hard.
Like if you fight with your partner, you can run back to home.
No, like it's just that
Then you
sometimes
take the
like,
plane.
fight, then take plane, go back home.
Yeah, that's
No,
a
it's
little
okay. You can come to my house. Yeah, or Charlotte's house.
But like sometimes
sometimes.
it's so nice that having immediate family around you. Like
That's
sometimes when you
true.
need
It's your support
it's
system
a
as
support.
well.
Because I live in KL for 3 years and I get to only go back like once in 6 months or 3 months. Sometimes for a while I feel like yay, freedom, especially like my
Away
from
from the eyes.
away from my parents' eyes. But 2 years after living by myself in KL, I do feel not homesick because
But you
I quite
miss
enjoy
your
live
family.
in
You miss your
Malaysia as well, but I do miss the presence of my family because I fall sick once and my mom is not around, I have to take care of myself.
Yeah.
I have to learn to cook, and I never did laundry myself before, right? But there's no one there to help me.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy whenever my mom visits me, just that she helped me with the laundry and all.
So I guess moving
Yeah.
forward, even if you do settle down in Singapore, it'd be really nice to have your family to fly in.
Luckily,
every
it's
now
quite
and
close
then.
to
Yeah,
our hometown.
I guess that's actually a huge plus point for both of your LDRs, to be honest. That there isn't that big a time difference, Like, I have some friends, it's like UK versus Australia, that kind of thing, and then it's just like 8 hours difference.
Yeah.
You really have to like write down, okay, this is what time we're gonna meet, or sometimes they just Skype each other to sleep.
Oh yeah, I did once with my partner. Went to New York for, I think, I cannot remember, but I really hate it. The time difference is crazy. Like, whenever I'm really tired and I want to sleep, he just woke up.
They're like, hey babe.
I have to sacrifice my sleep.
They are like so tired already.
So tired, and I cannot even like concentrate what to say.
Yeah, so I guess there's like
Singapore, Indo, Singapore, Malaysia.
Yeah.
It's
Still okay.
There is not
Yeah.
too
1 hour
far.
is still okay.
I think, okay, I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes and thinking of like how it would be if one day my boyfriend suddenly tells me like, oh, I got a job overseas and bye babe.
We can say congrats.
I think,
But you have a strong relationship, like base to begin with. So I think it's maybe still can work out.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't be as bad, and maybe you might be interested to move with him.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it entirely
Depends where.
It totally
Depends where.
depends.
The Indo.
I mean, I do think LDR, of course, is difficult because I think for me, my love language is definitely, it's time and also like physical touch. I'm a bit like you. I like to always be very clingy to my boyfriend and like have him like, come find me after work, hang out together on the weekends, that kind of thing. So for me, I feel like apart, that would be a huge thing that we really have to overcome together. I think every single relationship will have its own like issues and whatnot, but this is something that you already can foresee going into it, and that's
A tip
a
I
tip.
can give you is both of you have to be ready. It cannot be just you or just him. Both of you have to be in the same page, because in order for mine to work, of course there's a lot of ups and downs, and sometimes it's very upsetting when you just simply cannot meet when you want to meet,
Yeah.
or like you
Especially
are always
like if you
be
had a bad
apart.
day and you just want someone to talk
Yeah, that
to.
always happens to me. Like, whenever I have a bad time and I just want my partner to like sit down and talk to me, I rarely get that, but
Yeah.
I slowly kind of get the hang of it myself, and I know how to control my feelings, and I know my partner doesn't have to be next to me. I can just give him a quick phone call and tell him my day, and I'll be fine. That is something that I don't get instantly, but it's something that both of us, like, slowly we work it on together to get this far.
I think like Jasmine also mentioned, like it's good to have close friends
Yeah.
there for you, in case that you just
Definitely,
need a listening ear, who can go to
To talk about your boyfriend.
discuss relationship stuff. Yeah, especially like sometimes you want to complain about your boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
Then you just need someone to like,
That is very normal.
please. I mean,
Sometimes
come on.
I
Call
complain
Charlotte.
to
Yeah, well, I mean, even in Singapore, sometimes I also need to text my friend like, this person very
this
irritating
guy.
today,
I sometimes does that though, like text
Send
maybe
it.
her or my
Yeah.
friend, like, he bailed on me on dinner.
Oh no, that's so sian. Yeah.
But with relationship, just I think go with the flow, and both of you have to be on the same page.
Yeah, I think
That's the-
what you said about, going into it, being prepared, that's probably one of
There's
the
a lot of
most-
work to be done together. I wouldn't say you will be ready right from the start, because it's like LDR for first time for both of you. So
You will never be ready.
yeah,
Right? Just go with the flow.
Yeah, but be prepared to work on it
Yeah.
even more. than being together
need to
in the
It
same
takes
build
country.
even more
patience.
effort
Yeah.
than a
Also
relationship when in the
patience,
same
yeah.
country. Yeah, because I guess time apart, and then being more understanding about whether he's going out with friends,
Yeah.
you feeling FOMO.
Have an open mind.
Yeah, or even sometimes I think even like while we're in the same country, right? Like we get misunderstanding over text. Then like it really helps.
Sometimes text you can't
Get the
hear
emotion.
the
Yeah,
tone.
Yeah.
You cannot hear the tone, then you just feel like the person is being
You angry ah? You
But
angry
actually
ah?
the person
No,
not even
I'm not
angry.
angry. It's just
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
type it.
Like you think the person's being pegro or
Yeah.
like being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Actually, like no, that's like that's not what I meant at all. Yeah, so I think there will always be like these small little bumps in honestly in any
Normal,
relationship.
it's normal.
Yeah.
It's really normal.
It is. But thank you so much for coming down and sharing with us your story today. Thank you so much for staying with us. I hope we've learned a little tip or two. I definitely have about going to a long distance relationship. So that is all the time we have today. Thanks for joining us on Qwip.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Come to Indo.